Good morning and welcome to the One of a Kind Financial Show Daily. I am Mike Milligan. It's Tuesday, June 23rd, 98 days until I turned 58 years old. Yesterday, we lost two giants, Alan Greenspan at 100 and Clive Davis at 94. Today, we tie their stories to ours, walk through Monday's quiet but loaded market close, and answer a question I hear from new investors. How would you invest $1,000 today? Let's go.
Be one of a kind with Mike's plan.
Let's start with yesterday's news because two men died on the same day who in completely different industries taught the world the same lesson. The story is the strategy. Alan Greenspan was 100 years old. He was the Federal Reserve Chair from 1987 to 2006 and the first federal chair that I knew. He was that through my college years and when I began in the banking industry. He was the second longest tenured Fed Chair in history, just 4 months shy of William McChesney Martin. They called him the Maestro. He was confirmed by the Senate 69 days before Black Monday, which was on October 19th, 1987, the worst single-day stock crash in history. And his very first act as chair was promising liquidity to stop the bleed. It worked. Now think about this with me. Last Wednesday on this show, we walked through exactly why the Fed chair is so powerful. The agenda, the voice, the tiebreaker. And on Thursday, we covered Kevin Warsh's debut where he dismantled forward guidance, refused to submit a dot, cut the statement to 130 words, and told the press conference, quote, "Forward guidance is not the business we should be in," unquote. Alan Greenspan invented forward guidance. On December 5th, 1996, in a single televised speech, he said two words, irrational exuberance, and global markets crashed overnight. From that day forward, every Fed chair spoke in code, hoping to move markets just enough without moving them too much. Bob Woodward famously said Greenspan's sentences were long convoluted. You take at the beginning what they give at the end. That was Greenspan Put. That's what they called it. The era ended literally last week. Greenspan died 9 days later after Warsh buried the playbook that Greenspan wrote. Clive Davis, on the other hand, passed away at the age of 94. He was a music industry titan. He signed Janis Joplin, Bruce Springsteen, Billy Joel, Patti Smith, Lou Reed, the Grateful Dead. He turned Whitney Houston from a teenager into a pop diva. He paired Santana with contemporary artists on the 1999 Supernatural album, a record that won 8 Grammys and revived a career that had been dormant for 2 decades. Why does Clive Davis matter on a financial podcast? Because 8 days ago, on the June 15th edition, we covered episode 48 of the Ideas by Mike podcast with Ronnie Sadka on narrative momentum. The idea that markets, careers, and even people are driven by the loudest story. Clive Davis was the original narrative architect. He didn't just sign talent. He wrote the story that made the talent stick. That's what we do as financial planners. We don't just pick the funds. We write the story that makes the plan stick. Two men, same lesson. Rest easy, gentlemen.
Be one of a kind with Mike's plan.
Monday's markets closed mixed and quiet. The calm before Thursday's core PCE storm. The Dow eked out a gain of about 0.29% to 51,712. The S&P closed down 0.37% to 7483. The NASDAQ 100 finished off 0.19%. WTI crude continued to slide down to $76 a barrel on optimism the Iran ceasefire holds. But here's the number that matters the most. The 10-year Treasury rose to 4.507%, its highest level since the Warsh meeting. Bond traders are pricing in no rate cuts and saying it louder by the day. Mortgage rates are creeping back toward 7%. Today brings the first real data of the week. The S&P Global Flash PMIs, consumer confidence, and existing home sales. And before the bell, the opening today, Carnival Cruise Lines will report their earnings for last quarter on a sign and give us some signs on how the consumers feel right now in a higher oil environment, in an environment where inflation has gone up, and to see if they're seeing the same things in the economy that the numbers are showing us.
Be one of a kind with Mike's plan.
Educate, coach, plan. That's my mission. Let's educate. In today's lesson, this is one of the most searched questions on YouTube right now. So let's settle it. How would I, as a CFP, invest $1,000 today? Two bookends frame this answer perfectly, and one of them died yesterday. Bookend 1, Alan Greenspan, December 1996, irrational exuberance. He warned that asset prices were getting ahead of fundamentals. The dot-com bubble still ran for 4 more years before it popped. Bookend 2, Micron Technology today. It's up over 300% year to date heading into Wednesday's earnings announcement. Needham raised its price target from $500 to $1,550 in a single Monday morning note. Bernstein went from $510 to $1,300. The buy-side whisper number is 2217 in quarterly earnings per share. AI interface, agentic adoption, DRAM shortages, easy reason to buy, every reason to be euphoric. Greenspan would tell you that's the moment to be careful. So here's what I'd invest $1,000 in today. 4 steps, no drama. Step 1, open a Roth IRA if you don't have one and you have earned income that qualifies for that contribution. Contribute the $1,000 to a Roth before you do anything else. It will create tax-free growth for life, period. Step 2, buy a total market or S&P 500 index. Warren Buffett, the greatest investor of our time, said that index funds would work, and it's what he would recommend for his family. Something like VTI, VU, FXAIX. Pick one. Fees are low, under 0.05%. Not Micron, not a hot stock like SpaceX or something that you're trying to win the lottery on. The index. You own the entire American economy with one click. Step 3, dollar cost average. Don't dump $1,000 in today. Split it into 4 buckets of $250. Invest one this week, one next week, one the week after, one a month from now. If PCE prints hot Thursday and the market sells off, your later buckets buy more shares. If the market rips, you're already participating. Step 4, automate. Set up a $50 a month to keep flowing in forever. That's how $1,000 turns into $100,000. Not by stock picking Micron, by showing up. Here's the real lesson, and it ties straight back to Clive Davis. Davis didn't pick one artist and bet his whole career on it. He built a roster. He diversified. He let the long careers carry the misses. Index funds are your Clive Davis roster. The next Whitney Houston is in there. So is the next O-Town. You don't have to know which is which.
Be one of a kind with Mike's plan.
Tomorrow, we tackle real estate, and the news fits perfectly. Yesterday afternoon, the Senate voted on a bipartisan affordable housing bill that caps private equity at 350 single-family homes and links federal block grant funding to local housing supply. 4.7 million home deficit nationally. House votes later this week. We're going to unpack what that means for house hackers, the investors, and anyone trying to buy their first home in 2026. Also tomorrow, Micron and FedEx after the bell, the AI trade and the global shipping trade in one afternoon. Quick personal moment. Day 98 in my march to age 50. Today's reflection, what Greenspan taught me about humility. The Maestro spent 20 years being the most powerful man in finance, and the last 20 admitting what he missed. In 2008, he sat in front of Congress and said, I made a mistake. That's the lesson at 50 for me. Be confident enough to lead, humble enough to revise. Estoy, Aprendiendo. I'm still learning, always.
Be one of a kind with Mike's plan.
That's your Tuesday, June 23rd edition of the One of a Kind Financial Show Daily. Honor the Maestro. Honor the star maker. Buy the index, not the hype. And come back tomorrow when we open the real estate playbook. If you want a written, one-of-a-kind financial plan, that's what we do at One Oak Financial. I'm Mike Milligan. Educate, coach, plan. This has been Mike Milligan for the One of a Kind Financial Show Daily. This has been for educational purposes only. I am an investment advisory representative with Advisory Alpha LLC. Ideas by Mike doing business as One Oak Financial is an unaffiliated entity of Advisory Alpha LLC. Before making any stock purchase, index, or ETF purchase, please consult with a financial pro. Do not take the advice of this show as your sole discretionary advice in making those decisions. The financial plan is the most important document in your arsenal for building true wealth. For more information on Mike, you can go to mikemilligan.com, oneoakfinancial.com. That's the number one, oakfinancial.com. Or to listen to more of my weekly radio show, you can go to oneoakradio.com, where you can submit a question, listen to past episodes, or book with me, Mike Milligan. Until tomorrow, this has been Mike Milligan.